Okay, so lovely day here on the Isle of Wight. Just thought I'd pop out for a quick lunchtime loop. Just fueled up. Bike took about 16 quid. It was quite empty. I think it takes 18 litres or something like that, but whenever I fill it up it's normally like somewhere between 14 and 18 quid, something like that. Apparently I'm getting about 50 miles to the gallon according to the trip computer, but I don't know whether that's true or not, because I just, you know, all of my journeys are quite short, start stop. I think my average speed here is, oh fucking hell, I think my average speed here is something like 25 miles an hour. I don't reset it that often, to be fair, but it is mostly either sort of following other cars, 40 miles an hour, occasional blasts out. I don't really get to do many big trips on this yet. I'm looking forward to getting onto the mainland and doing some proper miles on it, but that kind of brings me on to the sort of positives and negatives of the bike so far. I mean, in terms of positives, I love the way it rides, I love the way it looks. Very easy to ride. I'm only 5'8". I think I've got a 31 inch leg, and I can actually flat foot this, so it gives me a lot of confidence. It's not actually as heavy as it looks. It looks like quite a sort of meaty bike when you look down at it, but actually, you know, it doesn't feel big at all. It feels very light to throw about. If I just wiggle a bit here and see just how, you know, how light and flickable it is. I'm doing what, 50 miles an hour, and you can still just flick from side to side very easily. You know, no trouble at all with that. So it's really nice and light and easy to ride. The controls are all really simple. There's not a lot to mess around with. So it's just it's a comfortable bike. I've ridden it for probably 3 hours or so at a stretch, and always been completely comfortable with it. Never sort of felt sore ass or anything like that. So it's a really comfortable bike to ride for, you know, any sort of length of time. So I can imagine if I was doing a couple of 100 miles on it or whatever, which is about apparently the range of the tank, I'd be completely happy and comfortable to do that. Pegs are at a nice angle, nice layout. Same with the bars as well. I know a lot of people have fitted risers and different bars and stuff like that, but I don't feel like I need any of that. I feel like it's just straight out the box, other than the mirrors, which I've already said that I changed. I haven't got heated grips on it. I've got a sat in my shed, but just not bothered to get round to fitting them. It's not been a bad winter here, so it's not really felt necessary. So I've just been wearing just regular gloves, where a lot of my rides aren't very long and at high speed. It doesn't really feel like it's a big deal. In terms of modifications, the only things I have done is to the exhaust flapper. I've got an extended mudguard at the front just to keep some of the crap off the engine, and I've got a hugger at the back to try and stop some of the spray. Doesn't do much of a good job, but never mind. And I've also got like an additional handhold on the back. I think it's a unit garage one that I bought from Pier City Customs. I've also got a few other bits in the shed to go on. I've got some like pannier holders, because I'm planning that if I do any sort of longer miles, I can sort of put some bags on. I've been looking at different types of panniers, and you know, first of all I thought about fitting old style, you know, the old ones that I used to have on the air-cooled bikes back in the day, but I'm just not convinced that that's not going to look gash, and I don't really want that. So I've been looking at some various sort of soft bag solutions, but I want something that looks classic. What the hell are you doing, dude? Alright, thank you. I'll go this way then, go around the block the other way. Didn't want to get stuck behind the chimney all the time. damp patches out here still, so I've got to be a little bit careful. I just flick right up here and go round the sort of back roads a little bit, just for a change really, just to get out and about. Ooh, a little bit hefty on the braking there. Yeah, so I want to put some bags on it so I can do some overnighters and stuff like that. The only trouble is they kind of, where the rear end of the bike is quite compact, I'll just pull over and stop actually and show you what I mean. So this is the handrail that I've put on at the back here. It's quite nice for my wife, but the bag racks kind of come here, so you've got to be careful that you don't interfere with the rear foot pegs and the lights, although you can relocate the lights quite easily. So that's just something I need to be a little bit wary of. Off we go. So something I quite like to do is, without making it look dreadful, like a top box I think would ruin it. You know, it's obviously not a GS or anything like that, or a proper touring bike, it's just, you know, a sort of retro custom cruiser thing. So obviously it's not, although you could tour on it, and I know people have toured all the way through America and stuff like that. For me, I just want to do the odd day trip on it, so I just want some relatively small luggage that I can pop on. Yeah, so I can do some away days really with my good lady on the back. I have to try and choose the good weather because there is a lot of spray comes off the rear wheel, and it's not fair on her to get soaked and frozen just to keep me dry. It's actually really nice to up as well. I mean, I was saying earlier on how I took out the exhaust flapper, and that's smoothed out the engine braking and the acceleration. I just find for me that it works better, and I'm really liking it without. I've still got all the parts, obviously. I'm trying to keep everything that I take off the bike, I'm keeping, so that I can put it back if ever I want to. I think it's highly unlikely I'll ever sell this bike because I've wanted one of these since about 1980, well not one of these, but I've wanted a BMW since 1982 when I went on holiday around Europe, and there was a guy pulled in on an old, I think it was a 90 RS or something like that, with his good lady and matching luggage. I think it was a red and black one, that old sort of red and black screen, and it just looked so cool, and I thought, yeah, you know, I'd like to have one of those. Never really got round to it with various other things, so this is the next best thing for me really. Quite pretty round here, nice just to pop out on a sort of 10-15 minute lunch break just to blow the cobwebs away, see what the roads are like. Still pretty greasy, I've got to be a bit careful around here because it is only February still. Don't feel cold at all though. We're just coming into Porchfield now, which is quite near to where I live. Nice little area, go nice and slow through here because there's lots of animals and people keeping horses and stuff, so we don't want to scare the life out of them. Keep it down to 30. School holidays as well, so we've got to watch out for kids and mums with stressed kids all over the place. Got a lot of cyclists on the Isle of Wight as well, so you need to watch out for them because you go around a corner and then you find people sort of spread out all across the road, and you don't want to clatter into a load of cyclists. Bad for them and bad bad for me really. Very nice indeed. Yeah, I've been thinking about getting another bike to commute to work on. Because I go up to London and various other places around the UK, mostly in the south, and I'm absolutely sick of sitting on trains for hours at a time. Like yesterday, train broke down, 2 hours late getting home. It's not like it's even a rare occurrence, it's literally every week when I'm on the trains they're late, and it turns what could be a 6-hour commute into a lot more. And yeah, you must think I'm bloody crazy, but this is the trouble with living on the Isle of Wight, you know, there's not much in the way of work for someone like me, so I do have to spend a lot of time commuting, always have done. So yeah, I've been thinking about that, so I'm not sure what I would get, whether I would get an old sort of touring bike like a VFR or something like that. Not entirely sure what would be the best thing to get, so if anybody's thinking of what would be good, I guess I'd be going Southampton to London a couple of times a week, so that's 70 miles, with the occasional trips out to Norfolk. Oh, there's a dog in the back of that car, very nice. Yeah, so let's wait.